Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night, right here on My 24 Milwaukee. This week, we're going to be looking back at WrestleMania 28, the epic WrestleMania 28 that was this past Sunday night on pay-per-view, and looking at a very explosive WWE Raw, which featured the return of the former UFC champion, Brock Lesnar. Wrestling may indeed be back on track. We'll talk about all that this week, right here, right now on the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night, right here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and it is indeed Easter weekend. You do realize tonight, one of the biggest party nights of the year.
Well, yeah, because the Easter Bunny's going to sneak in your house and put eggs in your basket, chocolate everywhere, toys galore.
What are these trading cards?
Those are your Justin Bieber
No, you've got, this is neat. You've got these, let's see, oh, this is very nice of you to get me these gifts.
Yes.
Look, I've got Terry Funk, all these wrestlers here in the Yoshitatsu. Been a fan of him for a long time.
Yes.
That's excellent.
The Peeps.
Christian, I'm a Peep. I've been a Peep for a long time. Look at that, Jacob Novak.
Never heard of him.
What?
That's John Cena's new cards. Isn't it? That's not John Cena?
No.
Justin Bieber. What do you have
No.
Justin Bieber cards for?
No.
That's ridiculous.
No.
See?
Are those the voices in my head?
It's the powers that be.
You know, I'm starring in the Marine 3 now.
I heard. Congratulations.
Let's get down to business, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Easter to all of you. And let's talk about last Sunday's WrestleMania 28. We were live in attendance in Miami, Florida, as you saw last week right here on My 24 with us down at Sun Life Stadium. But wow, The Rock defeats John Cena in the main event. David Hero, what an amazing matchup between those two men, and what an amazing reaction from the crowd in Miami. The Rock came home, and The Rock pinned John Cena 1, 2, 3. But the question is, did John Cena beat himself?
Well, John Cena, first of all, did a great job.
Literally.
Absolutely. I mean, he put over The Rock clean, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring with only one real rock bottom, I guess you could say, towards the end. But John Cena went out there, and let's face it, The Rock has not been in ring shape for a long time.
Not his fault.
Not at all.
He's been training with Kurt Hawkins.
He's been training with Kurt Hawkins and Joe Hennig, Mr. McGillicuddy. And the fact
Mr. McGillicuddy. Nice.
Isn't that who he is?
No, that's nice play on words.
Absolutely. And he went out there and he helped carry The Rock to a good match. The Rock was blown up within 15 minutes, wouldn't you say?
Probably.
Looked a little tired, had a hard time holding up the
having been in the ring
shoulder.
recently in a professional wrestling matchup, I too know what it's like to get blown up.
Yes, literally. But The Rock and John Cena told a story. Great pacing, great moves. They didn't need any flips into other flips to get to where they had to go. It was a fight. It was punch. It was kick. It was body slams. You saw all of their trademark moves. You saw rock bottoms and people's elbows and attitude adjustments and STFs. You saw everything you wanted to see, and I even saw more when I saw the 1, 2, 3 by the great one, The Rock.
This was a true wrestling main event. This was a true WrestleMania main event. The pomp, the circumstance, the pageantry, the big match feel that was amongst the 79,000 people in Sun Life Stadium. It's difficult, David, to put it into words.
But even how they got to the ring. First of all, you had Puff Daddy come out and introduce Flo Rida and Machine Gun Kelly. So you not only had a WrestleMania atmosphere, but you had a rock concert, entertainment, red carpet, you know, the big Hollywood lights in the sky feel to WrestleMania. From our suite, looking down on everything, it was literally larger than life. The production quality, the production team of the WWE, outdid themselves. From the opening vignettes of Rock and Cena, from kids growing up to main event stars, to the music, to the fireworks were ridiculous. WrestleMania in Miami was by far the biggest spectacle I've seen in wrestling yet.
And as I said on Primetime Wednesday night, the midweek edition of Primetime, there is not another company that does that. You talk about a Super Bowl.
Who can afford
it's
it?
the football. You know, with the big halftime
NFL
show
doesn't do
extravaganza.
that kind of stuff.
And you know, call it market down, call it whatever, but credit need to be given. I mean, the Grammys, the Emmys, whatever else, the All-Star Game, nothing comes close to what the pageantry was of WrestleMania this past Sunday night. And I think overall, as we look at the card, one thing is crystal clear. This was probably the most complete and well-produced wrestling mega event in at least the last 10, maybe 15 years. From start to finish.
I think it may have been the most complete from start to finish.
Ever.
With everything involved, when I say everything, I'm talking about the video montage, the music, the concerts. You had,
The palm trees?
Well, the palm trees they could have done without. It kind of blocked a little bit of the view, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the look, the presentation, you were at an event that was the Grammys, the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Oscars, whatever you want to call it, all rolled up into one. It was that big.
Another big matchup was the Hell in a Cell match. It was The Undertaker versus Triple H for the third time at WrestleMania, but this match would be as special as the other two were, as Shawn Michaels was a special guest referee, and by the request of Triple H, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, good old JR was calling the action from ringside. What an emotional ride this match took those 79,000 fans on.
You know, it was amazing because we all hoped JR was going to be calling the match because JR is the guy that delivers the story. He's the storyteller. As good as Lawler and Cole can be,
Right.
they needed that third man the same way Triple H Undertaker needed Shawn Michaels because it was that third person that tells the story.
And JR got the full introduction and everything. Which,
Undertaker and Triple H beat the hell out of each other. Those chair shots were stiff. The punches, the kicks, the body slams. Triple H opened up Hardaway a little. The amazing thing is everyone kept saying, how are they going to do it? They don't have blood. They don't have blood. You know, it's PG. When was the last time you saw a cage match where you didn't care that there wasn't any blood?
Or noticed that there wasn't.
Because it was that good. They didn't need it. There was no reason to run around the ring like they were a stuck pig. They did a fantastic job of telling the story. At one point, when Shawn Michaels super kicked Taker into the pedigree of Triple H, I thought, wow, he's done. Then he kicked out. They kicked out of a lot of finishes. But at the end of the day, when the match was over and The Undertaker beat Triple H and Shawn Michaels pulled up Undertaker, then Undertaker and Shawn Michaels pulled up Triple H and they had the big curtain call, the big embrace, that was magic. And that right there was the end of an era.
A curtain call that both you and Jimmy Corderas called on the big epic special that we did pre-WrestleMania with the Chairshot Reality and Aftermath guys. Shawn Michaels, he was used perfectly in that matchup. He was fair. He didn't call it right down the middle. He didn't do anything to Triple H. He didn't do to The Undertaker, and vice versa.
He got involved in everything.
Correct.
He did. But he had to, because otherwise, why have Shawn Michaels in the match? But the one thing that some people may not have realized, because they don't see it that much in other matches, watch the facial expressions of Taker, of H, and Shawn Michaels. Their facial expressions sold that match more than any of the big bumps could have.
As did John Cena's more so than The Rock.
Finally, did John Cena have some facial expressions? Yes.
A great matchup, one of the best WrestleMania matchups of all time for sure. The Undertaker versus Triple H. The streak continues 20-0. And as you said, David Hero, the WrestleMania curtain call, if you will. I firmly believe this was the last time we'll see The Undertaker in that match on that stage, because I don't think there's just simply any motivation for him to do it again. However, there is all the motivation in the world for World Wrestling Entertainment to want him to do it again.
Well, of course, but there's who's left for him to work with. I mean, if The Rock is going to stick around, is it Rock and Taker next year?
Could be Brock and Taker next year.
Is it Cena and Taker? I mean, you know what? I think Undertaker 20-0 is the perfect number.
Done. And one last point on that, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker have a tremendous amount of history. Let's not forget that. And they never had that big match. Matter of fact, Brock
They've
Lesnar
had some big Hell in a Cell matches.
They did, but Brock Lesnar has never even headlined a WrestleMania. He had the match with Kurt Angle at 19.
That was close.
He had a big match at 20, but he's never been the draw at WrestleMania. We'll talk more about that in a minute as we continue to talk about WrestleMania 28. CM Punk retains the WWE Championship over Chris Jericho. Another phenomenal matchup, one that we knew would be phenomenal. But David, did it live up to the expectations that not only you, I, but the fans set out there?
Well, you know what? I think it did. The problem it has, though, is it followed Hell in a Cell.
No, it followed Brodus Clay.
But I'm saying Hell in a Cell came first.
Oh.
And that sucked the emotion out of the crowd.
You know what, though? It took a lot of the emotion out of the crowd. I would argue that it sucked it out. Meaning,
No,
I think they had some
in a
left.
positive way.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans were exhausted, getting up, getting down, cheering louder, cheering
they jump
Triple
around?
H. Of course they did. There was the wiggity, wiggity, wiggity whack going on there. But it was fantastic. The whole card, the way it was put together was fantastic. Even the placement, even the Brodus Clay, even where the girls were put, everything was put where they needed to be to refresh the crowd going into each of the three big matches.
And we're going to continue to talk about WrestleMania 28, the biggest event of the year in professional wrestling. We're going to cover it in its entirety. When the Pro Wrestling Report continues, we're also going to take a look back at the WWE Raw and the shocking return of Brock Lesnar to WWE. This is the Pro Wrestling Report primetime Saturday night right here on My 24 Milwaukee.
This is your Pope D'Angelo De Niro, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report with Damian Nelson and Hero on My 24 Milwaukee.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. We're taking a look back at WrestleMania 28. And the matchups continue from what was just an epic night in professional wrestling, one that I feel really did turn the wrestling business around. Mark my words, in 6 months, you'll see. The next matchup, though, David, was a brief match and one that incited a lot of the professional wrestling audience. That was a matchup for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was the challenger Sheamus taking on the champion Daniel Bryan Danielson. And David Hero, you have 18 seconds to respond to this match.
It was great for DBD. Yes, he lost the match, but at the end of the night, they were cheering his name. Yes, yes, yes. Sheamus is the killer. Daniel Bryan is the underdog. Challenger now. Good things are going to happen for both guys.
Kane defeats Randy Orton, not only on SmackDown last night, but also at WrestleMania this past Sunday. Arguably, they had a better match on SmackDown last night than they did at WrestleMania, but I was still surprised at how great their match was at WrestleMania, and even more surprised to see Kane get the victory. But you gotta think Kane needed this, and you gotta wonder if the snafu with the Marine 3 played a role in Randy Orton's defeat.
You know what? I would hope not. I mean, Randy Orton is one of the bright young stars.
With a lot of heat around him right now.
A ton of heat. He's kind of like Sparky right now. Everyone loves to hate the guy. But I mean, you know, interesting that Kane beat Randy Orton. When I saw Kane give him a choke slam off the top, I'm like, boy, he better beat him now. Wow, he did.
Who'd you say that to, by the way?
Oh, Mike Bennett, Ring of Honor star. Mike Bennett was hanging out with us in this week along with Maria Kanellis and Rhino. And I'm like, boy, you should beat him with that, and I'll be damned. He beat him with that.
A great matchup, surprisingly better than I thought it would be. What wasn't surprising, though, is Team Johnny taking the win over Team Teddy. Johnny Ace, Big Johnny, has brought on now the people power era of WWE, and he did it courtesy of The Miz over Zack Ryder after help from the endorsed Eve.
Yes, you can thank Eve. Once again, the temptress with the apple.
Did you catch Ryder's pebbles?
Zack Ryder wants his rib back, is all I'm going to say.
I think he wants two other things back.
Well, my goodness. I mean, Eve becomes the biggest female heel in wrestling in a long, long time.
With time given to let it soak in as well.
Goodness.
As she
Poor
walked
Zack Ryder, your free fall has been nonstop. I hope there is some type of
You better not pick him again.
catching flotation device that he may have to blow into himself if he isn't drowned. But I mean, they have buried him week after week. They've made him ridiculous. I feel bad for Zack Ryder right now.
You got to feel good, though, for Brodus Clay, who got not 1, 2, but got 3 minutes and about 12 mamas on the WrestleMania card.
That is a Maury Povich nightmare.
You are not the father. How great was that moment, though, because you didn't expect it. It was perfectly placed again,
yes.
And it really did something special for Brodus Clay. He got 3 minutes of time on WrestleMania for basically a promo. Now, initially with the phone call thing, it was a little drawn out, but Mama 1, Mama 2, Mama 3, Mama Sita, Mama, everybody came out, and it was just a fun moment, but a needed moment at the time.
Very needed, because like I said, they had just gone through a Hell in a Cell. They had just gone through a Jericho Punk match. The crowd needed to get pumped full of energy. And what better way to pump up the crowd than have somebody call their mama? And that's it refreshed. It was the
Absolutely.
reset button. It was the refresh button. Brodus Clay saved WrestleMania.
Well, it didn't need saving.
Oh, he saved it for the main event.
WrestleMania 28, overall, an amazing event. Yes, we were there live, and sometimes things are different when you're there live, but everybody we've heard from, the momentum is in full swing for World Wrestling Entertainment, and I implore you, WWE, to do as you seemingly are doing. Continue that momentum. As a matter of fact, if you need to, hire all 13,000 people that were in the crowd in Miami on Monday night, and fly them out to every Raw every week for the next 6 months, and get that energy in the arena, because without that energy in the arena in Miami and the arena on Monday, the cards, the shows would not have been as great as they were. Kudos go out to everybody who attended WrestleMania and all the shows surrounding it.
Bro, Migo, that wrestling audience in Miami Monday night was the purest of pure wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. Those were the fans that came from all over. That wasn't just Miami. That was fans from all over the world coming to Miami to watch Monday Night Raw.
Hire them.
Well, there's work visas and green cards. There's a lot of...
The machine. We talked about the machine this weekend.
Yes,
all right?
Of course.
And if you never really get a full appreciation for all that the machine does until you see all that the machine does. And having been backstage briefly, I saw more of the machine than I thought I would see at WrestleMania.
What'd you see?
I'm not going to say.
What part of the machine?
I'm not going to say.
You saw the caboose.
I will say, though, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for this week's Star of the Week. David Hero, take it away.
Star of the Week, who do you pick? You got The Rock with the big win. You got the return of Brock Lesnar. You got Sheamus becoming the new he's the new world champ. I already talked about it earlier. My Star of the Week is the guy that lost in 18 seconds. Daniel Bryan Danielson. Yes, comes out, gives his girl a kiss on the cheek, big bro kick to the face, loses the belt. But throughout the rest of the night, we didn't hear the what chant. We didn't hear finallys. We didn't even hear awesomes. We heard that 3-letter word, yes, 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 all night long. And for someone to do the job in 18 seconds, but for it to carry over throughout the main event, throughout The Rock, Daniel Bryan Danielson is without a doubt my Star of the Week.
A solid pick for Star of the Week, but let's reflect back on the weekend that was and all the great Pro Wrestling Report fans that showed up not only for the Shenanigans Beach Party, but that also showed up in the Suite for Sweet and Sexy. What a night at Ocean's 10 on South Beach Friday night. Nearly 400 fans in attendance for the big Shenanigans Beach Party, exceeding our wildest expectations, but everybody had a great time, and a special surprise appearance by Rhino, the Gore, before appearing on the Hall of Fame Saturday night, attended the Shenanigans Beach Party. X-Pac, Kevin Nash, Billy Gunn, the Headbangers, Sonny showing up as well as Robbie E, Rob Terry. An amazing night. Thank you to everyone.
Kevin Nash. It was absolutely tremendous.
Headlined by Kevin Nash, as it well should have been next year. Stay tuned. We're already in talks and in discussion for what shenanigans will be in store for New York City and Times Square. David Hero, though, WrestleMania also marked the end of an era. Not with Triple H and the Undertaker, but with the draft. The 2011/2012 Pro Wrestling Report draft.
Okay. You know what? You won. You pulled it off. Heath Slater, the sledgehammer guy, pulls it off. Congratulations.
Thank you, Heath. We could be a two-man rock band.
Listen, I concede. You know what? Obviously, the better man won. I took it, and I guess next week we're going to have the big coronation, the trophy presentation. But for right now, the time being, I took it upon myself, because I care. I got you a crown.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
Are you gonna crown me right here?
I will absolutely crown you.
I shall cherish this moment, ladies and gentlemen.
I figure, that you deserved it. You worked hard. It was all shenanigans.
Feels weird.
It looks good on you. Yes. Congratulations, champ.
All hail King Damien. We'll be right back. Still to come, more discussion on WWE Raw from this past Monday night. This is the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Love this crown.
Hey, this is Harry Smith. You're watching the Pro Wrestling Report on My 24.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. What's so funny? Thank you so much, though, for giving me this crown. And
you're welcome.
And showing and conceding and knowing that I am the king of wrestling.
I use Scotch Guard, so if it feels a little awkward, I want to make sure that
I can't wait to see myself after the show wearing a crown. This is awesome.
Fantastic.
Let's talk about WWE Raw from this past Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. And what an amazing, fun episode for any wrestling fan out there. It was a good episode of Raw that then became phenomenal when you injected those 13,000 adrenaline-filled fans who were in the arena and made every moment that much better. And of course, the key moment of the night was the shocking return of the Pain. The next big thing, Brock Lesnar. Even though you knew it might happen, it was still phenomenal. I mean, I've watched it at least 13 times because I've long been a mark for Brock Lesnar. This, I think, was the perfect next step after The Rock in WWE to keep that momentum going, because we talked about on the WrestleMania post show, what the heck does WWE do next? Little did we know it would be the return of Brock Lesnar.
Well, it's interesting because when we got to Miami and we met up with some of the guys that, about what's going on, one of the first things out of their mouth was, hey, what about Brock Lesnar showing up this weekend? And of course, the people, they obviously knew something, but who would have thought Brock Lesnar, who quit Vince McMahon because he hated the business, for lack of a better word for it,
suit him,
has now come back and is now taking a top spot. Absolutely, with the top babyface in the company in John Cena. I wish Brock would have acted like he cared that he was coming back Monday night.
He was,
he came out there. He was
being Brock Lesnar.
Right, but was that the Brock Lesnar we were hoping to see? We didn't see the jacked up Brock Lesnar that we saw in UFC or even on the Titantron. We saw a watered down version.
You saw Brock Lesnar with a t-shirt.
Thank God he was wearing a t-shirt.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Listen, I'm a Brock Lesnar
You got to be that guy.
No.
You're the cynical one.
No, it reminds.
I'm the smart one, the responsible one.
Yeah, you are the smart, handsome
game.
one. Right now you are, absolutely.
Got a crown on.
What I'm saying is that remember when Sting came back to fight Hogan?
No,
in the NWO at Starrcade?
I didn't watch WCW.
And Sting took off the trench coat and he had a farmer's tan, like he hadn't even been in the gym working out.
Well, Brock couldn't quite go tanning in Miami.
There's sunshine everywhere
and
in Miami.
Fans everywhere. It would have picture of Brock Lesnar on the beach.
Brock Lesnar knew he was going to be at Raw for several weeks.
You assume that.
Months.
You assume that.
Oh, please.
You assume that.
I know that.
You assume that.
Know.
I believe the contract was signed this past weekend.
But still, he knew it was going to happen.
Maybe he didn't.
You know what? He has time to get to where he's.
Why are you breaking it down to this level?
Because
it's great. Enjoy the greatness. Be a fan. The greatness of Brock Lesnar returning to WWE.
It's all about presentation.
And it was presented
and perception. Perfectly. Okay, but when Brock Lesnar, the former UFC World Champion, is standing nose to chin with Brock Lesnar, okay?
With John Cena.
Yeah, with John Cena. It's two different looking. Yeah, Brock Lesnar is big. Is he still the most dangerous man on the planet?
I can't handle this conversation. Yes, he is. He is.
Okay.
He came out with the attitude of, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, you want me. Yeah, I know it, because he's a cocky guy.
Brock Lesnar is going to sell a ton of tickets, a ton of merchandise. Is he going to get the UFC fans to watch wrestling? No, not at all.
Yes. At
No,
least
he's
once.
not.
A good majority of them will tune in to see him on wrestling. Yes,
Well.
not long term, but I think once. It'll be the curiosity tune-ins.
It's going to be interesting. I hope that this is more of a gamble than bringing The Rock back. Just because Brock Lesnar at times is difficult to work with.
By his own admission, by the way.
Absolutely.
And reportedly, he is not the biggest fan of John Cena.
Well, who is?
Again, natural. Well, a lot
Why?
of people out
Why
there.
is he not a fan of John Cena?
Well, there was some discussion that back in 2003 when John Cena was on his rise, Brock Lesnar didn't quite see it and had Vince McMahon's ear about his perception
But
of John
Triple
Cena.
H didn't see it. Nobody saw it with John Cena.
I'm just saying.
Nobody did. No one
Broadcast
liked the
journalist,
guy.
just reporting.
You look like a broadcast journalist right now.
With my crown, of course I do.
Absolutely.
Raw. The Rock says it's just the beginning, but also says that while he's finally home, he sees a WWE championship in his
Poor
future.
CM Punk.
For many reasons. The bottle of booze on his head, the battle of the back of the head, and the squash.
You know, the squash.
Well, the defeat, if you will, by
Oh, okay. Punk's going to be in a whole world of problems pretty soon. Because if The Rock really does want that belt, he's going to get it. What happened? CM Punk, the hottest star in wrestling,
Summer of Punk.
8 months ago, right? Since then, Triple H, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho. Has Sheamus and Daniel Bryan jumped over Punk right now?
No.
He's barely in the top 10. He needs something quick.
Lord Tensai debuts. Impressive or unimpressive?
Very impressive. This is the monster heel everybody wanted Brodus Clay to be.
Big Johnny declares it is the era of people power. I tend to like the era as it has been presented so far. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you visit us on our website, pwrshow.com, to check out our midweek edition of Primetime Wednesday night. For David Hero, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in to
Easter.
Primetime Television right here on My 24 Milwaukee. We'll see you Monday on The Meltdown.